Welcome to the second lecture of our class. We are going to learn more about diversity in the workplace. After completing this lecture, you should be able to describe the two major forms of workplace diversity, describe how individual level characteristics are relevant to OB, demonstrate how workplace discrimination can undermine organizational effectiveness, and describe how organizations can manage diversity and create more inclusive workplaces. Everyone brings differences to the organizations where they work, and we will consider diversity in many different forms. These differences can create energy and excitement, but they can also cause conflict. It's important that we understand how individual characteristics like age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, ability, and so on influence people's performance in their jobs. At its most basic level, workplace diversity can describe any characteristic that makes one person different from another. When we look at the workplace, we can categorize diversity into two different types or levels. Surface level diversity represents the characteristics that are easily observable, such as gender, age, race, as well as other biographical qualities that aren't necessarily observable, but are not truly representative of someone's KSAOs, talents, interests, values, of who they really are at work. Today's workforce is more gender balanced and multi-ethnic and older than ever before. But these demographic characteristics are just the tip of the iceberg. Deep level diversity represents the aspects that are more difficult to see at first glance, such as values, personality, skills, knowledge, expertise, work preferences. The research suggests that employees are less concerned about demographic differences when they perceive similarities between deep-level qualities. The lesson here is that by showing people how they are similar in meaningful ways, we can help people overcome perceived surface-level diversity and really get to know one another. Stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination have evolved over time, but are still prevalent today. Stereotypes are beliefs or associations that link a person and their social group with a specific characteristic, usually negative, but sometimes positive. Here are a few examples. Millennials are entitled. To stereotype a millennial means to associate someone you think is a millennial with being entitled. People who have visible tattoos are criminals. Women can't drive. And here's an example for animal lovers. Pit bulls are aggressive. They aren't. One of the reasons that stereotypes are important to organizational psychologists is due to the effects of stereotype threat. This occurs when a person is threatened or impacted in a negative way by a negative stereotype about their group, one of which they are fully aware. Women can't drive, for instance, may make some women really nervous when they are driving, especially when driving with someone, regardless of their gender, who spontaneously announces the stereotype before getting in the car, which is something they sometimes do in research studies to make this stereotype more salient to the participants. There are several ways that people who experience stereotype threat might react. 1, they might unconsciously exaggerate the stereotype, think about it, have it in their mind throughout the experience. 2, they may engage in self-handicapping, where they find ways of hindering their own performance so that they can blame that handicap for any failure. It is a way to avoid taking responsibility for anything that goes wrong. Going out the night before a tough final exam and then saying it was the alcohol's fault that you failed the exam is an example of self-handicapping. 3, they may overcompensate for this stereotype in some way. Over time, stereotype threat can exhaust people psychologically and physically, which can then hinder their job performance in major ways. Organizations can help by training all employees how to avoid stereotypical and discriminatory thoughts and behaviors, and by using more objective assessments instead of evaluations that rely simply on managers' memory and biased opinions of people's job performance. Another reason why personnel psychologists and organizational psychologists can be so valuable to an organization. Prejudice, then, is more than a belief or an association. It is the emotional component, the feeling that comes along with some stereotypes. To be prejudiced means to have a negative feeling towards someone because of their association with a specific group. For example, to be angry with a specific employee because they appear to be part of the entitled millennial group. To dislike a job applicant who has visible tattoos because they are part of the criminal deviant group. To be afraid to sit in the passenger seat with a woman because they are part of the danger group. Stereotypes are attitudes, and prejudice involves emotion. Discrimination, then, is the act of treating people differently based on one's stereotypes and or prejudices about that group. So, stereotypical thinking and prejudicial feelings feed discriminatory behavior. Managing diversity in the workplace means making sure everyone feels included and that no one person or group feels they're being treated differently due to their inclusion in a specific group. Sometimes discrimination happens unintentionally, which is called adverse impact. Other times, discrimination is intentional, which is called disparate treatment. Impact sounds more accidental than treatment, so you can think of it that way. Adverse impact is unintentional. Disparate treatment is intentional discrimination. From the organization's perspective, a habit of discriminatory behavior can decrease productivity and make it less likely that people go above and beyond their job descriptions. It might also increase the amount of interpersonal conflict in the workplace and lead more people to quit. From the individual's perspective, discrimination can make people feel devalued, harm their self-esteem, and may put them at increased risk for health conditions like high blood pressure, depression, and substance abuse. Exhibit 2-1 from the most recent version of the textbook, shown here on the slide, lists definitions and examples of different types of discrimination. More legal scrutiny and social disapproval seem to have lessened the occurrence of the more overt forms of discrimination, those shown in the first 4 rows. But the less obvious forms of discrimination, like incivility, exclusion, continue to exist. They are harder to identify and therefore harder to prevent. Discriminatory policies or practices are actions that deny equal opportunity to perform or that deny equal rewards for performance. For example, older workers may be targeted for layoffs because they tend to earn more money and have better benefits than younger employees. Sexual harassment is unwanted sexual advances and verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature that creates a hostile or offensive work environment. Salespeople at one company going on a company-paid visit to a strip club, for example, may make some people in attendance uncomfortable. Intimidation includes overt threats or bullying directed at members of a specific group. African American employees at some companies have found nooses hanging over their workstations. Mockery and insults include things like jokes and verbalizing negative stereotypes. Arab Americans have been asked at work whether they were carrying bombs or were members of terrorist organizations. Comments based on inaccurate stereotypes. Exclusion of certain people from job opportunities, social events, discussions, informal meetings can also be discriminatory. Women in financial organizations have claimed that they sometimes get assigned to marginal job roles and don't get the same job opportunities, growth opportunities as the men in the same jobs. And incivility, the last type of discrimination, includes disrespectful treatment, things like behaving in an aggressive manner, interrupting people, ignoring people. Female lawyers noted that male attorneys frequently cut them off or did not adequately address their comments.